Hello all, welcome to the sixth episode of Gindi Times IPL Insights for IPL 2020. We bring you interesting and exclusive match and performance analysis every week. I am Imtiaz and we have with us Vasant Natarajan for the show today.
So, hello, hi, Ityas. Happy to be part of the sixth episode of IPL Insights, and I'm looking forward to a fruitful discussion. So, diving into the first match, it was Royal Challengers Bangalore versus Rajasthan Royals. Well, it was like Rajasthan Royals posting a total of 177 for 6, Smith adding 57, and Uttapa with the 41, and Morris holding of 26, overs 26, giving up 4 wickets, and Chahal with his 34 with 2 wickets. So basically, this match was a one-man show for me. Having ABD Villiers in your lineup is like having a cheat code in your video game. Take him away, and the Royal Challengers were like very much the second best to us and Royals on Saturday's match. With all the batsmen were just literally struggling to find the boundary on a slow pitch in a chase of 178. Take ABD Villiers away. However, exactly that's what the Royal couldn't do. It was the show stealer for me with his 55. Actually, the point to be noted here is ABD Villiers arrived when Royal Challengers Bangalore were needing 76 from 42. It's become more complicated because Virat Kohli departed with his 41 and Gurpreet Singh was just with his strike with 17. So the odds were against him. It was like staking up one after other, but ABD shows his class. He again proved that he is Mr. 360 and with his shots all around the ground, it was just pure magic to watch him. But even with the layers of difficulty adding to his task, Avery Willis pulled it off and made it look very easy. That was the pull off of that match. And with a bit of help from the Royals tactics, with the equation coming out there to there, it was like 35 to win from the last 12 balls. This left them with their final bowler, the best bowler, Jofra Archer, for 20th over. Rather than use him in the 19th over, as most teams do, they used him in the 20th over. De Villiers hit Jadav Unadkat for 6 of the first 3 balls of the 19th over, which pretty much sealed the game. So yes, Royals came back strongly and with one of the greatest batsmen in their side, De Villiers. That's my take on that match. And what's your take on the next match, Ityas?
I completely agree with I share the same opinion with you on ABD Villiers. It was really a treat for all the fans to watch. Coming to the match on Monday, that is between CSK and RR. This match really we saw Josh Butler who was unbeaten as he hit 70 of 48, and and Rajasthan Royals really they secured a very comfortable 7 wicket win over CSK on that match. So actually chasing the 126 run target, we saw some really good performance by Deepak Chahar and Josh Hazelwood. They were at the peak of the performance. They picked 3 wickets inside just the power play overs. But later we saw that Butler and Smith then went on to add almost 100 runs, 98 runs for the third wicket. That was an amazing partnership. So Rajasthan completed the chase in just 17.3 overs. So actually earlier in the day, CSK had decided to bat first, and I think that really backfired in their plan. Since they could score only 125 after 20 overs of a T20 match. Uh, Ravindra Jadeja, he finished the innings unbeaten on 35 from 30 deliveries, and Faf du Plessis and Shane Watson, they failed to really fire big in this match. We also saw Shreyas Iyer, Rahul Tewatia, and Jofra Archer. They did the most damage.
Yeah, I agree with you. Completely agree with you, Ityas. CSK was really poor in that match because they were not showing the intent to bat itself. Scoring 125 runs against a team like that would not take them to the victory line in any format. So they should really look into their team and they should put in the correct options there to flourish in the upcoming games. They really need to put some big efforts in the death overs as well as in batting as well as in bowling for them to win the matches. 125 for 5 in the 20 overs was not at all enough in this form of the game. So talking about CSK, let's talk about the Delhi Capital versus Chennai Super Kings match. So it was basically a decent performance by Chennai Super Kings. They posted a total of 179 for 4 in this match. Well, with Du Plessis scoring is 58 and Raidu scoring is 45. And it was a decent effort from Chennai Super Kings in the form of batting in this match. So we were like hoping for a great win here. But again, with the fielding, if you leave 3 catches, that two of Dhawan, then you're expected to lose the match somehow. So these the fielding effort should have been better in that match. And Gabbar, Shikhar Dhawan showed his form again and again, showing that he can bat too, scoring 101 runs from his 58 balls. It was very, very impressive in that match. He was the takeaway from that match from me. And Chennai Super Kings again failed in one of the main factors in that match, that is fielding. Actually, they left 3 catches in that match. And Jadeja's ball, Deepak Chahar missed a little sitter at the boundary, which should have been taken there before itself. So leaving catches like that can cost you matches. And still, it was an anybody's game in the final over, because Capitals needed 17 of it, and Sam Curran just conceding 3 runs from the 19th over and taking out Alex Carey was a great improvement. But again, giving it to Jadeja in the last over, a spinner against worst batsman who's going to hit a century, was a bad move for me. Dhoni should have thought a little better than that. And but he had no choice at the end, because Bravo was not available, as he's a designated bowler for a death over bowler for Chennai Super Kings, but he was not fit for that last over to bowl. So it was bound to happen. And yes, Chennai Super Kings should bounce back strongly after their mistakes, and they should come back with a strong effort in the bowling, batting, and fielding to win consecutive matches and to have any chance going into the playoffs. That's my take.
Yes, Vasant truly said catches actually make matches, as our friend told in the previous episode of IPL Insights. So coming over to the next match, it was between Delhi Capitals and Kings 11 on Tuesday, the 20th of October. So we saw that the Capitals they could only manage 164 for 5, despite Dhawan really striving and hit 106 out of 61 balls. So he had a good boundary rate also, where he had 12 fours and 3 sixes. But the main reason why there was a below par total was because of the lack of support from the other batsmen. They could only get some odd 54 from 59 balls, and we really saw some excellent dead bowling by the Kings 11 bowlers. The Kings 11 actually they lost their openers early in the chase, but Chris Gale's 13 ball 29 and Nicholas Puran's 28 ball 53 meant that the asking rate never crossed 8 after the 5th over, and it also never came below 6 after the 11th over. So this was the math that was going behind the game.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Imtiaz. Kings 11 Punjab are coming back strongly after the losses. They are having hat-trick wins, and they're coming up back into the game, and they're coming up forward into the points table. Looking forward to them in the consecutive matches. Yes, so let us start talking about the Kolkata Knight Riders versus Sunrisers Hyderabad match. Well, it was a super Sunday actually, because that day we had 3 super overs, not just two, 3 super overs. So let's talk about the first super over match, that is KKR versus Sunrisers. KKR and Sunrisers, they were 163 apiece with 5 wickets to lose for KKR and 6 wickets to lose for Sunrisers. They were two desperate teams, just separated by just 2 points. Two misfiring middle order teams, two squads unable to use their like overseas player properly. Two teams that are neck to neck with the 3 wins each against each other, like since they happened in 2018. So what happened the Sunday evening? A super over. What more can you ask for? So it was basically Lockie Ferguson's match that day, because he bowled a very he was out of the world with his bowling, because he just like a match like this, he just considered 15 runs with his 3 wickets in his 4 overs. Not only that, in the super over, he had to he bowled the super over obviously, and he just gave away 3 runs with removing David Warner with his off stump and the golden duck. And also he hit Abdul Samad's middle stump with a full and slower delivery. Then they allowed only 2 runs from Moin against Pats and Dinesh Karthik's Pats. So this gave Kolkata Knight Riders just 3 runs to win from this match. So Lockie Ferguson just put his bowling skills at the peak in this match, and Sunrisers Hyderabad were just floored by it. And adding to this, Warner just scored 2 fours with his 28 ball 33 when the last over started with Andrew Russell bowling, and with a big wide outside off from the first match, Rashid Khan. which was around the wicket. So they were not really in the match, and it was a very close match, and it was a very good match. And KKR went away with the win. What are your thoughts, Imtiaz?
Yes, Susan, that was a really interesting match. As you are told, there were lots of super overs on Sunday. So coming to next match, Wednesday's match between KKR and RCB. So in this match, we saw RCB win by 8 wickets against KKR. So what happened in this match? It was really interesting because we saw really a young talent Mohammad Siraj who left Kolkata Knight Riders so far down on the mat that all they could do was just last the 20 overs. So they did by playing out 4 maidens, which is an IPL record. Two of them were only to Siraj, and another that was another IPL record. And actually, they suffered 72 dot balls in 112 20 ball innings. That's that, and they could only put 84 on the board. That is the lowest IPL total for a team which is batting first and did not lose all their wickets. So as usual, RCB did not have much trouble with such a low total, and they completed within 8 wickets, and they had 39 balls to spare. So what I thought was RCB, they just needed a hint. So the RCB had been very good with the way they handled the bowlers this season. And in this game also, as soon as they saw that there was some swing, they immediately went to Siraj with a new ball, even though he was just a new man in the team.
Well, I agree with you, Imtiaz, because all those people who are mocking RCB's bowling had to be surprised and happy about their overall performance this season, because restricting a team like that to 85 is not an easy task. And that too, Siraj bowling 2 maiden overs, as you have already mentioned, with a player that has been neglected before and coming back strongly. It was just a win-win situation for RCB. RCB is coming back very strongly, and I'm expecting them to be the playoffs. So starting with the Mumbai Indians versus Kingsland Punjab match. If you're a cricketing fan, what more can you ask for in a match? It had basically everything. You had two super overs, and both teams putting in every heart and soul in that match. It's a perfect example that there's no match fixing going on. Wow, what a match it was! First of all, I want to. Where do I start? First of all, I want to say that one thing. If you're having a captain so dedicated as KL Rahul, you're bound to win the match. With his 77 runs and his wicket keeping skill and his captaincy skill, he is out of this world. And again, if you are saving a six like that in the super over by Mayank Agarwal, if you're putting this Herculean effort in a match, then obviously you're bound to win the match. And if you have two bowlers that are ready to defend 5 runs in a super over, Shami and Bumrah, obviously the victory. Obviously, you can see the depth of the bowling, death bowling, and the class of Indian bowlers that we're having nowadays. And again, at the second super over, we all saw that Chris Gale and Mayank Agarwal came to bat, and Chris Gale showed us that he's the boss. He came out and hit the first ball for six, and Mayank Agarwal with his two fours sealed the match for Kingsland Punjab. So where do I start in this match? Because this match was evenly based at the start, but at the last it was Kingsland Punjab who they were in the winning line, because to get from three was an easy get, but Bumrah the death overs you can never say, because he's a world class bowler, and he just gave up 2 runs. And again, when Bumrah bowled the super over in the first time, 5 runs against KL Rahul was not up to the par, and I thought that the game went to Mumbai Indians. But again, the shocker there was Shami. Shami defended that 5 runs against a batsman like Peacock and Rohit Sharma is a big task. So again, after coming after that, it was a tie, and we had to go for another super over. So the rules again played a big role here, because in the World Cup 2019 World Cup, if this rule was there, then the winner could be anyone, because the winner could be England or New Zealand. But this rule just came because of this IPL. So kudos to the rules as well, the updated rules, as I say. And again, the next super over comes back with Jordan bowling, and he dug out the Yorkers at the correct time. That is what led to the victory of Kingsland Punjab. Talking about Kingsland Punjab, it was a Herculean effect by their team members, because they just played their hearts out because they needed the 2 points very, very badly, and they just snatched it away from Mumbai Indians big time. And Jordan bowling that and defending it again with a batsman like Pollard and Hardik Pandya and just giving away 11 runs, and it was a win-win situation there. And not to forget about Mayank Agarwal's save right there at the super over. He just snatched the ball. It was if that six had gone, then Kingsland Punjab's winning chances would have been meager. So again, coming back again with a batsman like Mayank Agarwal and Chris Gale, and Chris Gale showing that who's boss again, just he hyped up the chances. So Kingsland Punjab will be a happy camp, and they are coming back very strongly, and they may have a chance to go to playoffs. What are your thoughts, Nitya's?
Yes, Vasan, that was really a nail-biting finish. Kingsland Punjab finally had the upper hand after two super overs. So coming to the next match, that is Thursday's match between RR and SRH, where the Sunrisers they won by 8 wickets. So coming about the game, we it was really interesting to see Manish Pandey's counter-attacking 83 not out of 47 balls. It was fully studded with four fours and 8 sixes, which really which was against Jofra Archer's opening burst in the second innings. Um, so what we saw was after being put in, the Rajasthan Royals they struggled to get going and could only manage 154 for six, which is actually the lowest first innings total by any team in Dubai this season. So a big reason was because of Jason Holder, who came in for Kane Williamson, who got injured, and picked up a 3 wicket haul. The Sunrisers also equally did not have a great start to their chase. Jofra Archer sent back David Warner and Johnny Besto by just the third over. But those two turned out to be only the 2 wickets the Royals managed in the whole game, as Pandey and Vijay Shankar, who really struck 51 ball 52, which was an added 140 for the third wicket, and they could take the side home with just 11 balls to spare.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ityas, because Sunrisers Hyderabad really played very nicely in that match, and putting up a partnership that was that good. Well, we had a very fruitful discussion, Ityas, talking about all the matches that happened this week. So I hope that the next week, coming week, also has interesting matches as these, and looking forward to future episodes.
Yes, Vasant, rightly said. We saw a good melody of cricket the past week, and we are seeing more interesting tournaments, more interesting matches in this tournament as we proceed. So this brings us to the end of the sixth episode of IPL Insights. So this is Imtiaz Hussain and Vasan Natarajan signing off from Gindi Times IPL Insights. Thank you.
Thank you.